Hi, everybody. Welcome to the Quarantine Podcast. Today on the Q Podcast, that's how I call it. We have a phenomenal guest. He's super funny. He's been crushing it for years. I'm so happy to call him my friend. I think, guys, the one and only Usama Siddiquee. Look at the face he made.
Hey,
Was Santi was your name?
Yeah, dude. You're a busy man now. That's what I don't. You know, you just did America's Got Talent and you crushed, dude.
Thank you, bro. Thank you, man.
It was insane.
Thank you. It was crazy. It was crazy. I'm just anytime. Here's the thing, Santi. Like, I knew you when we had nothing. I knew you when we had like not a bringer spot between us. You know what I'm saying?
Nothing.
We couldn't even get on the bringer show. That's how bad our clout was.
Yeah.
Right. So you've seen the homeless Osama. You've seen every phase. Oh, yeah. You've known me for what, 6 years now, right? I met
6 years.
You left coming to New York.
Yeah, 2013.
2013, right?
Yeah, I met you in 2014.
2014. See, I don't have the exact day, Santi.
Bro, you made such a big impact in my life.
5 years, 8 days, and 13 seconds, 14 seconds, 15 seconds.
Santi works with numbers, so that's why he's very good.
Yeah. I gotta know my numbers. I gotta keep track of my data. And so Sid and Ali, you met them when you went to Montreal.
Yeah, that's right.
I heard the first time I heard a brown guy speak French. It didn't make sense. Thought the Matrix was opening up. I was like, what the fuck is this? And then, because dude, Montreal stand-up, because Sid is like the motherfucking slumlord of Montreal comedy, you know what I'm saying?
We're good, bro.
Dude, and then I heard him, because Montreal, y'all are crazy because, Ali, are you Montreal as well?
Yeah, I'm Montreal.
So, what blows my mind on Montreal comedy is that y'all are so, like, y'all are snooty, but y'all deserve to be because y'all are all, like, quadrilingual, right? So, like, how you not gonna know 4 languages and then be a little shitty? What blew my mind about your comedy scene is that y'all will be like, hey, give it up for Jack. Hilarious. Clap it up, clap it up, clap it up. Juste mon ami. Un canon. It's like y'all don't miss a beat between the English and the French. And he goes up, black dude, and it's like y'all are just, the crowd there's not even a blip of what's going on.
Yeah.
Americans are so dumb that you see the Montreal comedy happening. It blew my mind.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well,
the
French is really good, by the way.
That Sid smirk,
It's Sid, funny. Like, it's funny, yeah, because the thing about Osama is that it doesn't matter what he speaks. Like there is like a form to it, like he did, like when you were saying that too. It's funny that people from New York have this view about the Montreal comedy scene as being like, oh, it's just for laughs and everything. But when you go, like if you don't go in July, the Montreal comedy scene, the best comedy scene is in French for 11 months of the year.
Yeah.
Right,
Sid? Like you can vouch for that.
Sure.
Christ.
He's like, okay.
You understand, but only English, and you're like, hey, everyone besides you is good most of the time, right?
No, Sid was changing things. Sid and Ali, their show that they were doing at Peroni, like it was like sold out, packed every weekend, and that's like the community was like changing. The comedy scene was changing because it was balancing out like the French and the other comedy club. So it was becoming this like, I don't know. It was like a good vibe. Every time I went, it was like, oh, this is growing and growing and growing. And now that we have COVID, like we don't like, who knows where that's gonna go.
Right.
Yeah.
I mean that's the thing is like, especially with the Sid and whoever is like creating like the underground scene. That's becoming overground or whatever. It's like, a lot of it's based on word of mouth, right? So it's not just the show that grows up its own, rapport and its own fame. It's also people hanging out at other places. So it requires a functioning society for the thing to keep growing, right? That's any sort of word of mouth show or underground show.
Yeah, you want to grow the entire scene, not just one show.
One show. It requires people, right?
Yeah. How many shows were you running before the pandemic hit, Sid?
Some weeks I do 3, some weeks I do 6, 7. It depends on the week. Yeah. I just run a show every day, and all of them would just be fucking rammed.
bro.
But that's the thing. I wouldn't really rely on. A lot of people rely on big names to draw people. I wouldn't do that. I just cut the big names and just try to create a big scene, big movement towards comedy. And that's what was missing in Montreal. Like we didn't have like people following, actually coming out to shows.
Yeah.
Had people, hey, I want to go see this funny Indian guy I saw, not Usama, whatever. But like.
I come only with good vibes to Sid. It's like, yeah, okay, all right. I was going to compliment Sid. I was just about to before he called me a bitch. Yeah. I was going to say that Sid is a hustler, and he will do a comedy show in someone's asshole if people will come out to it. The dude he's like water. He will fit the space.
I heard 3 I was like, that's it. Yeah, well, you were good on America's Got Talent. Congrats.
Yeah.
Bro, you honestly, I've seen, I guess the only person that because it's so hard to watch comedy in front of like 4 judges and like it's not
comedy. Dude. Comedy sucks. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, but the only person besides you that I was like enjoying watching on America's Got Talent, he actually made it to the finals. You probably met him. He was in New York for a little bit. Samuel Comro.
Yeah.
He made it to. He was one of the finalists, I believe, and he blew up. And this guy with Tourette's. He's super funny.
Yeah.
But he had a disability. Tourette's is kind of like his thing, but he was still legitimately like one of the funniest people. And Sid's laughing because I just for some reason offended people with Tourette's.
When you tell Alzheimer's, like forgetting shit was his thing. It was kind of his shit.
No, but you know what I'm saying? Like he used the pain of like people being jerks to him, and then he made it into like he's one of the funniest fucking people you'll ever see. And then I've seen other comics from New York, like Carmen Lynch did America's Got Talent. She did pretty good, but it was an awkward format because you're like, okay, you got 2 minutes to make us laugh. Go ahead. You're like, what joke could I possibly do in 2 minutes?
But that was really 2 minutes, right? You only did 2 minutes.
2 minutes. That's 2 minutes. Yeah, that's the freaky thing. Is like, because I was terrified that in 2 minutes you got it's like insane, right? To get any sort of a vibe out or energy out. So I had to use things that were right there, right? So in 2 minutes, what do you get before the set even starts? Okay, name's Usama Siddiquee. Boom, the name Usama is already clicking before the 2 minutes starts. So now you can work with that. So by the time the interview, that they have a little pre-judge interview when you're on the stage and they're like, hey, where are you from? What's up? So during that time, they're like, oh shit, his name's Usama. Okay, what's that about? What's that about? So when you go in, the second one, hit the Usama now because you don't have to do any work with it. You can hit that name and hit that joke idea real quick, right? That's one. The other thing is, what joke can I do that brings the judges in? Because one thing, I used to watch that show for years and years and years. They love the judge stuff. When the fire twirler goes to the front and they do stuff in front of the judges, they're like, ah! So if I'm going to do comedy, because comedy is like the lowest form of the talent in this show, right? Yeah. Nobody is here. And the people who are, the crowds are not like, oh, let's go. Oh, I can't wait for the nuance of this stand-up. Like they're Vegas, Yeah. They like cotton candy. This is the fucking crowd, right? Very broad, very universal. They want to see a kid sing. That's what they want.
Yeah. And then they cry after.
Alzheimer's sing.
No, that's what I was gonna say. I was like on the show. It was like the 10-year-old, then the 8-year-old, then the juggler, then Usama.
And all of them had like no limbs. And how am I gonna do anything that's remotely as sad, right?
It's hard variety show. It's very hard. You did really.
Bro, Sid, did your brother see Usama's set?
No.
Because he's one of the judges on the other France's Got Talent.
Really?
Okay. So he gets to see people in and out all the time.
Yeah, well, he just showcased his French, so maybe he'll make that show.
Hey, we're bridging France's Got Talent with America's Got Talent right here.
Oh, there we go.
Yeah.
Dude,
hey, when you referred to Simon, were you improv? Was that improv, or did you actually have that in?
No, he had it set up.
No, Ali, you don't. Maybe it is. Maybe I'm just.
Good question.
This guy's not going in there improving shit the last minute.
Oh no! Sometimes it
The
works.
scariest judge of all time.
I would
off
improv.
riff. I mean, damn.
Bro.
Here's the thing. That joke, I already had the riff built in. So that joke, the second joke, was a dirty joke, very dirty. It's like instead of like,
when you were doing that joke, because I didn't know, sorry to interrupt. It's because I know how the joke goes. I was like, is he gonna do the whole joke?
you ever hear somebody's name and know immediately that he fucks better than you?
Oh.
That's the original line. I said better lover, which is like, dude, it's an insane cross section because you gotta like, you can't dilute the joke, but you have to also relay information as fast as possible, right?
Yeah.
So there was this energy. I'm like, okay, so that thing was like whittled down and pulled back and just made up. But there was a part in that joke already that basically I use in the crowd where I'll be like, I'll find someone's name out in the show, and then middle of that joke, I'll say that crowd member's name.
Yeah.
And that has already been part of the joke. So I was like, instead of a crowd member, let me just throw it at Simon. Everyone loves Simon. Everyone knows what Simon represents. So if I shit on him, it's going to be like this whole kind of incendiary thing. And I could have gone wrong. That was the line I was the most terrified of. Because I was like,
I think you knew the crowd was going to be behind you. You knew it.
Yeah.
Most of we did. That joke never fails in real life. But Simon, all I know is the fear of Simon.
Yeah.
Right? I'm fucking like, if this goes wrong and that joke doesn't go right, here comes the buzzer.
Yeah.
There goes my whole set. And a comic gets the buzzer. You can't just keep fire twirling. You're like, the momentum is gone, right?
Yeah.
So there was a fear there that if it didn't go well, that it was gonna derail the whole set.
How's the reaction been with your fans and the women? That's what we all want to know. have you been getting those calls? Oh, I lost your number 10 years ago. How you doing?
the girl that got away in third.
No, that one back.
Right. The only call I want really is from Sofia Vergara. That's the only DM.
Bro, you were talking to my girl, man, my homegirl. When I was like, I didn't even know she was one of the judges.
There goes the girl. There goes the girl.
Oh, you.
Why would I care about girls? When I have my pen right here.
Good call.
Look at that. This is just like, oh my god.
Oh, you care? Did you get the calls?
Did you get the calls? Yeah. Whether you act on it or not.
The call. I mean, I can't see. It's like literally I can. It's like a virtual reality.
Okay, you got the calls.
It was so funny when you got on and Sofia Vergara was like, "Hola Usama," like she starts going with her thing, and I'm like, he's probably gonna make fun of her. Like I thought like you were gonna, and then you were just like so confident, like you're just like you're like ready to do it, like you were just ready to go. It was really cool to see that.
Also, when they asked you, they're like asking you questions at the beginning. You said like, "No, I like, how's your career been going?" You'd be like, "No, I've just been doing these shitty bar shows." I want to ask you, have you been invited back? Have you been invited back to the bar?
I got texts from every bar show runner about this shit. Swear to God, you're the sixth guy to be like, "Oh, shitty bar gigs, huh?" It's a proverbial thing. Your show is not the only show in the world. Jesus Christ. I know you run 7. There's more shows in the world, Sid.
What show are you fucking talking about?
Yeah.
I'm talking about the upstate. Santi's done this. Upstate New York, lower state Texas. I'm talking about upstate New York bullshit. Synecdoche, fucking Long Island, bro. These gigs were the ones in my head when I'm like, shit gigs.
Yeah.
It's unreal. You're
a winery in Oneonta, upstate New York. Those are the gigs you'll never forget.
This was taped pre-COVID, right?
Yeah.
Right before, bro. It was like the week before.
Right no.
There was like 5 or 6 more auditions scheduled for after mine, right? That are kind of like whole day auditions because they call it. They don't have every audition on the show. Okay. So you have to have some sort of story or you have to do really well. Because even people who got 4 yeses didn't go forward in the show. Okay. They cut it down. It's kind of how the show works. It's very
with COVID. With COVID, all the big shows might take time to come back, like a long time. So you might need these shitty bar shows. Who's fucking shitty?
Yo,
who's shitty now?
Shit, I'll send you my avails. Right?
That's a good question, though. That's a good question. But here's the thing. Like, let's bring it to a topical thing. Now with what we're seeing, like the protests and people gathering outside and everything, if there's no surge in infections, if we don't get like a massive second wave, we should go back to business as usual.
There's no way that's not going to happen. 100%. I think there's going to be a little bit of a surge in a week.
I don't think we're not going to get cases just because I don't think it's possible with what's happening. If it is, people are going to call out everybody and be like, yo, this was bullshit. How is there this?
Right.
Bro,
So
in New York,
they're going to limit cases. They're going to limit shows to 250.
Limit shows 250 people.
Yeah, like big rooms here. Like let's say it's 1,000-room place. They're going to be like it's 250 people in 1,000 rooms. So you're going to have like one seat, 2 or 3 seats empty, a couple, whatever. They're gonna like try to do that way. Then a whole row empty behind you, then people sitting. It's gonna be fucking weird.
yeah, it'll be weird. But my point though, is like, this is probably like we're doing two things. We're fighting injustice. We're fighting, inequality in the United States, and Black Lives Matter all the way. But we're also testing this COVID conspiracy theory, like because everybody's out, everybody's like mass gathering. Like as much as you wear a mask and you keep your social distance, there's a lot of people out. Like I don't know if you've seen the videos, but like in Manhattan, like just now, like there's like just people, Lower East Side, like packed, just sidewalk. It's like insane to me that 2 weeks ago or 3 weeks ago we were like, don't go anywhere, like we don't know if we're gonna reopen, and now everybody's out. Like it's just, to me, it's crazy.
I don't think it's a conspiracy. I think it was probably like most of the older population was getting it, and we got scared because of that. And we should have isolated them and just been, I told you guys at the beginning, like, keep all the old people inside, give them as much money as they want.
Yeah.
We'll bring you food. That's it.
Give them money for what? So they can buy what? Like coffins for themselves?
Whatever they need. Whatever the pens. Whatever they're using.
Game Show Network passwords. What are you talking about? The bingo fund. What are you saying, dude?
Whatever they,
you know what they need.
Whatever they need,
I agree in the sense that also if you were living with an old person, say with someone above 60, should have quarantined with somebody else, maybe lived at somebody else's house for a month or two, and we have that be like a whole initiative. Like, are you
man,
at your house?
You just keep them in the room and you just slide the food under the door or slide the food in. That's it.
So it's just,
and then like a dog, and then they put it through, and then
I didn't say that. You said that. I didn't say that. You said that with the shitty bars. That's two sets of people who hate you now.
What?
I'm okay.
What insecurity? What show are you thinking about that I think that your show is shitty? So
it's not for me.
It's not for me. You think is like, oh, this is the shitty one.
I'm just like, I'm like, people put this piece of shit on his shows all the way. Like, put me on a show, put him on, and then he gets up on the big stage and like, these garbage shows I'm doing.
This is like a Sid thing.
He loves doing this. The more he loves you, the more he'll.
Brown uncle thing, classic. It's like, hey, you were good. Here is 9 things that make you suck. That's a classic Indian uncle way of living.
If Sid doesn't bust your balls, he doesn't love you. You know what I mean? Like,
and this was classic brown person not appreciating the people on the way up. Just be like, nah, fucking everybody sucked.
This is it's sugar Sandy and it's salty Sid. This is the two.
Yeah. There's no in between.
Salty Sid.
I've already been called that. Salty Sid, sour Sid.
Yo,
I just call
This is what I love about Sid. This is the reason why we get, like, on our YouTube page, our videos get a persistent 4 dislikes to whatever we do. Without even like.
Listen, I'm gonna find that and make it 5, bitch. I'm about to find your podcast. I'm about to share it to people who hate you.
Usama's gonna dislike his own video out of spite.
It's like, fuck this guy. Makes a fake account.
The whole ship down. The next round, I promise you, next round they're gonna be like, so any more shit gigs? Actually, what I was talking about when I said shit gigs was this Montreal gig you did in Peroni's. Worst gig I ever did in my entire life. The owner touches kids. I'm gonna tell you that right now.
Dude, Tony's gonna be fucking upset.
Yeah, you just touched the Italian base of Montreal, so
good luck.
Yeah, good luck.
We've been touching kids since '95. This is not a new thing.
It's not a new thing.
He wasn't born in '95.
This is what happens when you're French. You just have to touch it. Underage boys.
80% in France is 0, I think. Right?
Yeah.
Great, thanks. Now this video is gonna get flagged.
Will it
Thanks,
get flagged?
Santi.
It's okay. We don't really do that. We're obviously joking. This is a comedy podcast.
Of course, yeah. Of course.
Listen, how is Montreal doing with this though? Like Montreal people were going insane 2 weeks ago, last week. Like what is happening over there?
Nothing's happening over here.
Everybody's
What do you mean
going to
nothing's
watch
happening?
the
No one's
whale.
out. Like everybody was out, like buying things at restaurants. Like it was like legit, totally open.
No, it's not really open.
No, it's not.
No?
Open.
No, not at all. It's not even
Restaurants are
open.
closed, man.
Yeah,
It's not
yeah.
open.
Close.
Only takeout and delivery.
Yeah.
Oh,
Shopping
really?
malls are closed. Restaurants are closed. Bars are closed.
The only way you go looting. So that's it.
Exactly. But
No
everybody's
looting
watching
in
the
Montreal.
whale. There is a whale. There's a humpback whale in Old Port. So everybody's going there to watch the whale now.
Oh
Okay.
yeah, that was a good. What the hell was that about? Like, it was like the biggest thing after COVID. Like this, it was like the
Yeah,
biggest news.
It's like a 3-year-old male humpback whale sort of came upstream, lost its way, and it's stuck because it can't go further up. It's too.
How desperate.
There's a lot of current.
Entertainment.
Yeah.
They're watching whales now.
Yeah, that's why
whale
we.
watching, man, in Montreal. Who would have thought?
It's
Hey,
so.
are there shows going on in Texas or no?
No, everything's kind of closed down. From this apartment complex, I can see there's like a pool. Every white dude whose dad owns a South American country is fucking hanging out.
Oh,
They're fucking
nice.
not social. They're just fucking peeing in the same pool, drinking COVID water. There's no difference. They're all banging. It's all just one big orgy happening. No masks. It's fucking insane.
Amazing.
So that's what's going on. So they don't really care. People are meeting regardless. I can see people meeting in areas, but Texas also is Republican as fuck. Very much, they're the same people who like protested and a couple weeks ago. So they're doing it. I don't see a problem here. It does seem like maybe there's not that much spreading here. I mean, I don't hear about Texas going crazy, but nothing's really open. No cinema is open. Nothing's really open. But things are open. People, it's kind of like, everyone's kind of like, So people kind of hanging. No, there's no danger here, and there's a sense of that.
Yeah, dude. They don't. My wife was telling me she has a friend in Georgia. She's working. She's she's at a gym. People are going to the gym.
Oh, really? It's open?
Yeah.
I've seen the gym. People going to the gym.
They're opening.
People just licking random poles. People don't give a fuck here. People just fucking put their tongue on unidentified objects. They don't give a fuck in Texas.
Yeah.
They really don't. Because Texas always had that energy of like, fuck you, federal government. You don't tell me what to do. They, they try to secede from the union many times. They're like, fuck you. We're our own thing. We do what the fuck we want.
Yeah, Texas is the Quebec of the United States. They want to separate.
Oh, yeah. Yes. Equally snooty, equally up their own ass.
There you go.
We're not different.
Quebec is Texas.
Yes. There's a Sid Khullar Texan version who runs shit bar gigs here.
Wait, that's how you do a callback.
Okay, we got a couple of shitty people that made it on TV that think they're funny.
TTV?
I'll see you on the way back down. Don't worry. I'll see you on the way back down, buddy.
Oh,
Sid, first of all, Sid, I loved your shows. I don't call them shitty because you are so pure.
Here he comes.
I know, really. No, something I love his shows 100%. I was like saying that before on the show.
Yeah.
But even he made himself like, oh, what's the shit? Now all I want to do is shit on his gigs. All I do.
It wasn't even me. Watch. I was like, oh no, I'm just be doing these shitty shows. I'm like, I'm been on JFL.
Yeah, you're right. But the funny thing about this is the funny thing. You have to sell the idea. So you have to sell the idea that you're doing really bad shows, or like you're doing so that people like believe in you.
I know.
Because Usama, like, listen, he did New Faces. He was passed at the Comedy Cellar. He was doing a regular, like, he was passed at every comedy club in New York. He already made it in terms of comedians in the New York comedy scene.
No, I know. Even when they took the video of him like sleeping on the homeless couch, this guy's wearing like fucking $300 Nikes. I'm like, fuck you.
Sid is that observant little bitch, dude. He just nothing. You can't get a tear out of this guy. Nothing on the show. Nothing.
At least,
Guys,
at least,
like, hey,
Usama,
that couch is imported. Fuck that. It's a nice couch.
hey, Usama, at least fucking take off your shoes, rip a hole in your sock, have a toe coming out, something down this thing. This guy went in straight with his fucking $300 Jordans. Like, I'm gonna wear these.
I'll tell you. Right. That story is they had the story, which is a true story. I did used to sleep in a foreclosed house, but the video evidence, the photo evidence, that was a picture of me sleeping in my dorm in college. But it looks homeless, so they just interlaid it. It's not necessarily lying. It's just kind of interlaid at the right time. If you'll notice on my video, the moment in the interview when I say that I tutor, they changed the camera to two little Asian kids in the audience. I don't know them, but the show creates its own narrative, right? So it's like, yeah, tutor math on the side, two Asians back to me, implying that these are my kids came out to see me.
I love it. I love it because you have to tell a story. You gotta make people. It's one of those shows that if you don't have a good storyline, it doesn't matter how funny you are, how talented you are. You gotta have it.
Dude, if your mom didn't get run over by a car by her own brother, then don't even go on the show. Hey, what's your dream? I just want to walk less dogs for a living. Get the fuck out of here. So you would have the saddest story, and I came in. I'm not super sad. I got all my digits. You know, I'm feeling good. There's a guy, bro, wrongfully incarcerated for 37 years. How the fuck am I gonna beat wrongfully incarcerated singer for 37 years? So I try to play a little bit like the New York toughness, the New York struggle. So when they
which you did do, I'll give you because I you know, like, no for nothing, but like I've been here for 7 years now, and seeing people like the people that, you know, we were doing open mics together, that class of people, there's you know, people that were outstanding. You know, you did all the, like, you were the only one. I remember we were doing like several podcasts before, you know, we were any level, but you were doing like 7 open mics every day almost. It was like insane. It was you and Eagle Wit that were the two standouts of just open mics, just repeatedly owning the craft, and it showed, man. Like, you and Eagle were the two that were more like, I mean, I did all right, but not to the level that you guys did.
We loved you, Santi. We're like, Santi's all right, isn't he?
I mean, I didn't. You guys were like really insane at just going to that like open mic New York hustle and real, just like doing jokes in front of like 2 comics. Like, you know, that's a real thing.
Think about that.
Santi was pretty much fishing for like a compliment, and fucking Usama just drowned the fucking fish. It was like, fuck.
I don't need no compliments now.
I'll talk about Santi. Santi, motherfucker. Okay, Santi. This is how nice a guy he is, right? This is the best story I ever heard about comedy in my life was the Santi story that you told me.
Santi's the nicest guy. He's too nice.
No, he literally is the nicest motherfucker in the history of the world, right? And not even like fake nice. Motherfucker is like nice, right?
No, I'm scared for him to leave the house in New York. Like, why do you even go to New York?
Here's a story. Here's a Santi story that he told me. So there's a comic named Noré Davis, right? And Santi told me the story about how, like, there's one show. There's only on 2 shows, Santi and this guy, Noré. Both funny comics. Noré's a little ahead in the scene. He's got a little more power. So the first set, Santi did better. He had a good set, hit the right jokes, blah, blah, blah. And Noré didn't kind of hit it, right? So Santi comes up, nice Santi. There's no way you can misconstrue Santi's niceness. But if you're in a bad space in your head, say you just bombed a set, and some guy says, Santi comes up, he's like, hey, man, really good stuff. I really enjoyed your stuff. And if you're not feeling yourself, you hear that, you're like, oh, fuck this guy, right? Santi's been a nice guy. Santi's so nice. He just wants to give love to this guy who just bombed. But the bombed guy felt so shitty that he construed Santi's niceness for like a piece of shit passive-aggressive move. So the second show, Noré blasts the shit out of the roof of the building with his jokes, gets off stage, tells Santi, that's how you fucking do it, piece of shit.
I remember that.
And I'm like, dude, you don't understand how nice Santi is that he was just telling you nice job.
Dude, that's a great. I can't believe you remember that. This is like early on. This is like way back.
Have you guys seen The Last Dance?
Yes, all of it.
That's all like Michael Jordan just making shit up in his head to be like, yeah,
shit. Dude, I love. That's what greatness is, bro. Because the one guy, and it wouldn't even be like, "Yo, I fucked your mother." It would be like, "Hey man, good game," and he's like, "Oh, good game. Oh, good fucking good game.
That's a good
Okay."
Dude, I remember that because it was devastating to me when I remember telling you that story. I was like, I felt like a piece of shit because what he said, and like we're in good terms. Like every time I see Nori now, like we're cool. You know, it's like he was ahead. He was like he had already, you know, he'd been doing comedy for longer or whatever. But what he said to me, because I said, "Hey, good set," and he was like, he was like, "Oh yeah. I mean, you know, talk to me when you have jokes."
Oh,
And then I was like, I was kind of like, when I have jokes,
Yeah,
like I
yeah.
fucking crushed. Like one of those jokes is like, those were premises. Like he was just being so specific about my set that I was just like, what the fuck did I do to you? I was just giving you a compliment. And then he felt so bad. He posted on Facebook that same night. I remember that being like, I just sucked dick this show, but then I showed this guy whatever then I liked his post and I added him on Facebook, and then he accepted. And then I remember what happens after. But then right after that, he felt like, oh no, because people called him out that night at the club. They're like, Nori, you didn't have to do that.
Yeah.
And this is before New York Comedy Club was like what the new. This is before Emilio and all these people took over. So like the staff, everything was, even the shitty staff at the time over there, they were like, bro, that was not cool. And then Nori felt bad about it. But I can't believe you remember that story. That is a really good story. Yes.
It describes who you are perfectly. It's a nice guy no matter what's happening. You know, the world ends, everyone's in bunkers. Santi's food for somebody because he's like wants to be nice and give himself.
Yeah, but you know what? That's the difference between the New York scene and the Montreal scene. The Montreal scene is like this. If Santi did that here, it'd be like, hey, nice set. And Nora was like, yeah, you piece of shit. And then all of the people and Nora's friends would have been like, yeah, piece of shit. Piece of shit. Ban Santi from all the show. Like, that's what happened. That's how Montreal is. I'm not joking.
The Montreal comedy scene is vicious, dude.
There was one guy, bro. Sid was a good vibe immediately. You know how Sid's like a piece of shit, but in the good boy way. You know he's a piece of shit for you, right? He's a good dude. There was one guy, I can't remember his name, bro. We were chilling with him, Sid, and I immediately liked Sid. I immediately liked him because I did well on the show, and he was like, good set. And you know what that means. Like, he won't even look at you in the face, but he'll say good set to the air, and you know that you just got to catch the compliment. Sid will release a compliment away from you, just catch it and take it back in, right? So we were hanging. Like,
once I give you a good job, you automatically become more expensive. So I can't.
That makes no sense. But it's all free at bar shows, bro. It's all different types of free. So
no, it wasn't. It wasn't free when you came last time.
It was. Didn't I get paid?
You got fucking paid. You and your crew.
Hell yeah! Thank
you. Than my regular night. So.
Thank you for the $10, bro.
Thanks for nothing. I wish it was $10.
So we were talking outside of a bar, me and Sid, and there was one guy I remember, and I got the whole vibe of the Montreal scene in 1 second. I remember talking to Sid, we're joking, whatever, and this one guy comes up and he's like, before even saying hi to me, he's like, "So JFL, huh?" And I'm like, "Oh, fucking, what did I fuck your wife or something? What the fuck happened?" What's his name, dude? Do you remember who was talking to us?
No.
Indian-looking dude, I think. And I could sense that he was just like angry at the idea of.
Because I'll explain to you what it is, Usama. Like Montreal comics, we have very limited. Like if you're just a Montreal comic, that's all you did. You never went out of Montreal. They want to know how you got anything. How'd you get Just for Laughs? How'd you get that gig? How did you do that? They want to know because it's so limited. The pie is so small that when they see someone like you, there's like, oh, how did JFL? How did you do that? It's like that's where their brain goes. That's a classic Montreal comedy move.
It's that small town mindset, dude. It's like, dude, JFL doesn't mean anything. It's just one thing in a sea of nothing, you know?
And Just for Laughs for a Montreal comic is like the biggest fucking deal.
So it's like a difference in perception.
Yeah, but now so many people have the credit. It's kind of like it's how you use it, not what it is. Not what it is. You can't just put JFL and automatically you're doing these big shows. You still have to go there, hustle for those shows and hustle for everything. Right. People have this misconception that Usama got JFL, now he's going to get everything. That's not how it works.
Nothing could be. Dude, comedy is a shit sandwich right now. There's no money in it. You know what I'm saying? So it's like people have currency in their heads, but it's not actual currency. It's not actual money. So comics, we're so dumb because we're all terrible businessmen, right? Most of us, Sid got, we can create an empire, but most of us were fucking shit at this business side of it. So all we have is currency as milestones are different things that aren't really moneymakers. So JFL, getting a club spot. What? That's like $20.
Yeah.
But in their mind, it's like getting, making partner at a law firm, right?
Yeah.
It's not the same because we have a warped idea of what success is because it's based on this stupid rat race that doesn't act. At the end of it, there's no money.
Yeah.
So we have to undo that and undo ourselves from that stupid 80s style mindset. Get Carson, get blah, then get. It's such an outdated ass way of thinking. Really, not even on some survival shit. It's outdated.
Yeah. Boy, it's not a livable job. Like if you play like that, you won't be able to pay anything with that.
Right.
It's just it becomes like, you're doing best case scenario, you make $30K, $40K a year. Like that's like a good comic. Is like, how are you gonna live with that?
Right.
And I agree with you on that. All right, guys, we got 2 minutes to wrap it up because we try to keep it in 40 minutes or like whatever time we did. I think it's 40 minutes. So a couple of things before we go. Usama, I want to thank you, dude, for doing the podcast. Really appreciate it, man.
Dude, I had a great time talking to you and Sid and Ali nodding. That was great.
We'll see you at our shitty show soon.
But honestly, dude, it's so amazing to see. Don't worry, they're really hurt by that. But
I cannot wait to just like hit up Sid when I'm there next time. Oh, dude, it's gonna be a problem.
We'd love to have you, man. We'd love to have you.
Oh, okay.
No, we love you, man. Like this was honestly for someone that's seen you from when you were just got to New York and all the things that you've been doing, man. Honestly, man, nothing but respect. Really, really awesome stuff, man. And that 2 minutes set in America's Got Talent, that's just reflective of how hard you've worked, man. So that's all I'm gonna say. I live for Sid and Ali to say something to you.
It was amazing, and who knows with this whole COVID thing? Probably the next time you come up, we're probably gonna have shitty shows. I'm telling you.
I'd love to be on them. I love your shows, bro. Right?
That show that he just performed on probably spread COVID everywhere. Thanks. No, thanks, man. It was really good to see you, and I hope to see you again.
Appreciate you. Much love.
Yeah, dude. Honestly, stay safe. I don't know when I'm gonna see you here in New York, but hopefully we'll get back to it soon, man.
Sounds good.
Stay safe, y'all. Much love. Good talking.
Bye, guys.
Thank you so much, bro. Appreciate it.